Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerner back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Venus in conjunct Mars in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart. They were a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy, so what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is if you have Venus in conjunct Mars in a natal chart, well, an adjustment, which is the inconjunct, may be needed between, doing what you enjoy, which is Venus, and, activities that involve physical strength, which is Mars. Now, the thing is, one or the other may be overemphasized. When you have inconjuncts in a natal chart, there can be a strong, vacillation and distortion of energy. And the key is to find balance and equilibrium between the two energies. Now, the thing is, it could be, where you might be doing, too much, what you enjoy, what you're having fun with, which is Venus, to the expense of, things that may need to be done that involve physical strength, which is Mars, or it could be the other way around. You may expend, so much time and be dominated by doing things that require the physical strength, again, which is Mars, to the expense of doing things you truly enjoy, which is Venus. So let's say, you have, your Venus in Aquarius in the natal chart. The things you enjoy, maybe tied in with humanitarian, altruistic endeavors, and maybe doing something associated with astrology, astronomy, computers, electronics, meteorology, innovation, aviation, as some examples. Now, another way Venus in conjunct Mars may manifest in a natal chart is that you may either have, this tremendous exorbitant energy, which is Mars is our energy and vitality, in terms of when you're making money and generating income, which is Venus, where there may be times when you have none whatsoever, where the energy level just completely goes dead. You're too either apathetic or feeling lethargic and don't really want, or have no ambition at all. There's just not enough actual energy literally there to make money. So let's say if, Venus is in Pisces as an example, money, may be made, doing something, associated with photography, chemistry, poetry, dancing, doing something with filmography or making videos. It could be doing something with illusion or anesthesiology or the metaphysical, which includes astrology. Now, the thing about this too is, now Venus in conjunct Mars in a natal chart may also manifest in possibly vacillating between really extremely, valuing, which is Venus, in terms of taking action, which is Mars, and other times you may simply be apathetic about doing this. It might be where you just have no, desire. It's just completely not in your value system at times, as opposed to extremely, valuing. Now, the thing is, now let's say, if you have Mars in Scorpio, taking action, it may involve, something with insurance or taxes or wills or an estate. It could be major change or transformation, dealing with, upheavals, or dealing with a crisis situation, as some examples. And also too, another way Venus in conjunct Mars may be expressed in a natal chart, it could either be, having tremendous, enthusiasm, which is Mars. It could be for art or whatever, whatever is connected with Venus, or you may be completely disinterested, in this. And now let's say, if Venus is in Gemini as an example, artistic interests may include art that's animated, like the cartoon art, or it could be, now if you have, let's say, Venus in Pisces as another example, that could be like abstract art, fictional, fantasy art, art that's connected with the sea, fishes, boats, anything that is Pisces related. Now, another example, could be, Venus in Capricorn could be more the conventional orthodox art, or it could be something, connected with a political or, government, artwork, as some examples. Now, another thing too is that, when you have Venus in conjunct Mars in a natal chart, it may also be expressed through it could be, very long periods, with where you have many disputes, which is Mars, because Mars is about arguments, combat, confrontation in your relationships, which is Venus. And other times it might just go the opposite way. There may be prolonged periods where you don't have any at all, because again, with these inconjuncts in astrology can give a very strong, vacillation, distortion of energy. So the thing is, if you have Mars in Sagittarius, as an example, those disputes may be over philosophy, beliefs, religion, higher education. It may be over sports, even in some cases, even expanding horizons. Mars and Aries can be more real acrimonious, more acerbic, kind of disputes. Mars and Taurus may be ones that are all on a monetary nature, over one's values, possessions, resources, issues with persistence, as some examples. And the thing is, if you have, this aspect in your natal chart, another way that it may pan out is that you may go through extensive time and periods where you're finding sex, which is Mars, very enjoyable, which is Venus. Then other times there may be prolonged or protracted periods where it's not so much, where it's just the opposite, where, I'm not saying you would abhor it or loathe sex during this time, but there may be times where you just simply, are completely, you don't find, really the happiness in that you may have had previously. So it's just a very strong imbalance of energy. Now, if Mars is in Aquarius, as an example, sex may be of an unorthodox or unconventional nature. It might be using, the computer or electronic sex toys. It could be, now if you have, Mars in Sagittarius, it could be where one, may like to go outside the box, so to speak, in terms of sex. Mars and Taurus could be more a very strong sensual, kind of sex, where you kind of go really slow with it, if you understand what I'm saying. And the thing too is, Venus in conjunct Mars in a natal chart may also manifest in having, an imbalance, between activities connected with your important or significant friends, which is Venus, and then it could be, activities, or maybe and with the sexual partner. So what I'm saying is, you may, either emphasize too many activities with your important friends, which is Venus, or ones with the sexual partners. It could be where one is emphasized to the expense of the other. You may either have too much involvement with your important friends to the expense of the sexual partners, or it could be the other way around. You may be dominated by one or the other. And, let's say, if Venus is in Gemini, as an example, those important, significant friends, one or more, may actually be a Gemini sun, moon, or ascendant, or embody, the characteristics of the sign. It could be, those that are, mercurial, fickle, changeable, loquacious, adaptable, versatile, maybe have a tendency to gossip, though, as well. And also, too, it could be where, if you have Venus in conjunct Mars in a natal chart, it may, simply be too much or too little drive and motivation, which is Mars, in terms of, making money, accumulating possessions, doing things that you value, which is Venus. So, let's say if Venus is in the zodiac sign Cancer, the things you value, maybe tied in, with home, family, cooking, if you're making, Venus is about making money as well, so it could be, Venus in Cancer, money may be made in real estate, home renovation or remodeling, working in a plumbing or laundry business, doing something as a home caregiver, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying, stay well.